Okay, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be the first initial rinse of these 4 products which I have applied to my test panel, you can see there. So we applied them, it's been basically close to a week before I could get back to actually film this first initial rinse video. So the panel has not been left outside like it normally would, it's been sitting inside. So it hasn't been washed, has had no water touch it so far. It's just been left to cure, and yeah, it's been 4 to 5 days. So definitely plenty of time. I know some of these want 24 to 48 hours, so we've definitely given them above and beyond what they need to cure. So we applied all these on the panel after it was compounded and wiped down with a prep spray. So the paint was completely bare, ready for protection to be applied. And yeah, we did apply them all in the previous video. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a slickness test. I do quickly feel it with the back of my hand, just sliding along the panel after applying them. And I felt like I could feel some that felt slicker than others. After checking it after it's fully cured, the 303, which I said was quite actually grabby on the wipe off, and after sort of just wiping the back of my hand across it, it felt pretty grabby. I can say after curing, it actually feels quite slick. So that's definitely just an issue, not an issue, but that's just definitely how it works, I guess, when it is applied. But after it cures, it does go nice and slick. So we're going to be testing the slickness by, as well as just running my hand over it and seeing what I think. We're going to be putting these ceramic coating applicator blocks, which are foam on the back, and we're going to be sitting them onto the panel and lifting it up and seeing in the order in which they slide off the paint. We'll move them around. They're all pretty new, clean blocks. But yeah, we'll move them around. We'll see which seems to be the slickest, and yeah, be able to get a bit of an indication. Then what we'll do is we're going to rinse this down. We're going to check the sheeting and beading capabilities of these 4 products. Now, obviously, just to quickly go over, we do have 3 graphene-based spray sealants, and then 1 traditional sort of polymer super hydrophobic paint sealant. So the reason why we have 3 graphenes and then a more traditional style sealant is the fact that this is our reigning winner for our previous test. We did do 6 spray sealants against each other on the test panel, and after 4 months, if you haven't watched that series, then that's why this is the winner. So this beat the Turtle Wax hybrid ceramic, it beat the Maguire's hybrid ceramic, I'm not sure if that's the name, and the Mothers and a few others. So it's moving on, and now we want to see how it does against these graphene products, as well as whichever's going to be the winner in our test. It's going to keep moving forward against a new range of products, so we can just we have something to compare against. So with that said, yeah, here's what we have. So we have the Ethos Resist graphene hybrid coating, the 303 graphene nano spray coating, the Turtle Wax Hybrid Solutions Pro Graphene Infused Flex Wax, and the Bowden's own bead machine. From now on, I think I'm just going to call them their brand name, because that Turtle Wax name is just a little bit too long to keep saying. Okay, so before we move on to our slickness test, what I want to do is just go over which one looks the best, which one has given us the greatest increase in, I guess, like darkness and gloss. I mean, you can see here, this is the paint with nothing applied, and you can see it looks amazing because it has just been compounded, but there is differences. I can see some looking better than others. Not only that, I can see where they're applied. So I can see here a distinct line all the way up for the 303. So it is definitely there. You can see a difference between where the tape was and where the product starts. Hopefully you guys can see that in the camera. It's probably going to be hard. I'll turn the light off even. So the reason why I bring that up, when I brought this panel out and sat it here, I can see these 3 end products quite clearly, but I actually can't see the Ethos. There is no clear mark of where the masking tape was. I know it would be around here, but I can't actually see where the product is compared to the rest of them. So the 303, if we just come across 303, hopefully you guys can see the line. Might be easier if I come up to the other side of the panel. But so 303 to the Turtle Wax, and then to a lesser extent the Bowdens. So the Bowdens, there is a clear difference. You can see it's a little bit darker where it's applied, but I'd say it's between the turtle wax and the 303. So I mean, I'd say I'm going to give the turtle wax the win there. It definitely looks the darkest. It's the most obvious that there's something applied. So I mean, hopefully you guys can see that. It's not just a waste of time trying to show that, but in person it is quite clear. You can see these three products that they have done something to change the paint. So I mean, the paint already looks good. Like I said, this is the section that is untouched, and here is turtle wax and Bowdens, so there is a clear line. But yeah, the turtle wax probably the best, 303 second, Bowdens third, and the Ethos I can't actually see any difference. Now it's not saying it's not making the paint like glossier, so I'm sure it is, but just saying for the darkening effect on this dark coloured panel, that's something I thought I would point out. So okay, now what I'm going to do is get this slickness test done. So before we get the block, just going by the back of my finger, so the Bowdens, comparing it to the untouched, just polished section feels pretty grippy, and the Bowdens, quite slick. The turtle wax, also quite slick. Maybe just a touch slicker feeling than the Bowdens. The 303, it is definitely a bit grabbier, but not as bad as what it was with the initial application. Yeah, it's not much better than the plain compounded paint. And then so the Ethos. Yeah, the Ethos feels pretty slick too. So yeah, I'd say the slickest feeling is probably the turtle wax of the Bowdens. I mean, it is, yeah, they're both pretty even. Maybe the turtle wax slightly. So turtle wax doing well at the start, but in the initial application it was terrible. I still cannot believe how bad that stuff was to apply. So now let's grab our blocks. Let's place them onto our four sections. So 303, turtle wax, Bowdens, and Ethos. And then what I'll do is I'll lift the panel and we'll see the order in which they start to slide off the paint. Okay, so let's lift this up and see the order in which they start to slide. So it's going slowly. Okay, so the turtle wax going, the Bowdens and the Ethos going, and the 303. Definitely the slowest. So probably about the order in which I would have expected. They do kind of feel about that, but yeah, turtle wax, Ethos and Bowdens pretty similar. 303 the grippiest, but all are noticeably slicker than the bare paint. Just some more than others. So slickness is a huge thing for you, and you want the slickest possible product, then probably the turtle wax. I don't think slickness is the biggest deal breaker or issue personally. I definitely want something that feels pretty slick, but yeah, any of these that do add a little bit of slickness to the paint and is noticeable when sort of washing, I would assume. Okay, so now what I want to do is check the sheeting abilities of these products. So we're going to start on the Ethos. Unfortunately, I just had a bird dropping land on there, so hopefully that just rinses off, because I don't want to actually give this a wash, but I'm just going to rinse it. So I'm going to so yeah, you can see it is giving us some instant sheeting, not actually allowing the water to stick at all. So yeah, really nice water behavior. Compare it to this section here underneath, which is untouched, and you can see the slow sheet compared. By the way, I am going to remove this tape soon. I just haven't gone and got a paint pen yet to try and write which product is which. But yeah, that will be gone after this test. So you can see the line of where the product is applied, where the water has sort of stuck. So that is obviously our masking tape line there. Okay, so now coming on to the 303, you can see some amazing beading just from the water hitting when we're rinsing the Ethos, but let's see what it's like with sheeting. So yeah, sheeting off the water quite well. You can see it all running off at the end where there's nothing applied. And just comparing it with the Ethos. So the Ethos is definitely a little bit better for sheeting there. The water's sticking on the 303 quite a bit more. And now let's keep going across the panel. Alright, so now the turtle wax, see how that is with the water. Just trying to flood the panel. And we'll put it up. Try and flood both 303 and turtle wax at the same time. See, I'd say the turtle wax. The turtle wax clearly better. You can see just how long it takes for that 303 to sheet the water away. And lastly, the Bowdens, our non-graphene product. Let's see how that does. I know it is on a bit more of an angle. It's more similar to the Ethos. But without a doubt, it's clear the Bowdens is definitely the best for sheeting the water off. It is running off at a much quicker pace. So yeah, I'm going to say probably best off there is definitely the Bowdens. Probably second, a bit harder out of the turtle wax and the Ethos. Probably going to give it to the turtle wax second. Ethos is third. 303 definitely in last for that. So now we've got the panel basically covered in beads already. So I might just try and sheet the majority of the water off. And we're going to try and just do a bead test now. Just see how they all look. So I'm going to go over the whole panel. Okay, so I'm going to try and just bead the whole thing up. So in a mist function, just quickly spraying over the whole panel. Okay, so you can definitely see where the tape line is for each product, because here's the difference between, I know a lot of people say they don't like beading. Now here's the thing with that. With light rain, something that is going to cause beading on a car, bare untouched paint is going to bead. Wax, sealant, ceramic coating, anything is going to bead up the water because it's just the way the water's hitting. Here's completely untouched, compounded and prep wiped paint that does not have any protection, and you can see it's still beading up. The difference being that here's some on the turtle wax section. The beads are going to build up easier into large clumps like this, and then they're going to, as they collect more water, rinse away. Whereas in an untouched section, they may sheet off a little bit slower, but they are going to still bead. So here's the difference between the Bowdens and the untouched. So I know which I would prefer on my paint, because as soon as you drive off with any type of speeds, with this sitting on your paint, it is going to just blow off the car completely and your car will be basically dry. Whereas this, just like people complain about with the beading from a product that causes beading, it is going to also bake into the sun. It's still sitting on the water, it's still creating beads. So I sort of bring that up because I've had a few people constantly mentioning that they don't like beading products, they want something that just sheets. Now I don't think that's possible. Even bare paint, as you can see, will bead and sheet, just not as effective. It's not going to be as slick and allow the water to just run off like it does when it's got some protection on it. But okay, with that out of the way, let's just go over the products and the beading. Now they're all obviously amazing. It's just been applied. It's going to be pretty much, you're not going to be able to really call a winner here in just the look of the beads. So, but I will look closely. I will try and bring you guys in close and get a look at them. So we'll go along here. So there is the Bowden zone. Get these little micro beads. You can build up into larger beads, and they're all really nice and round. So now coming over to the turtle wax. I mean, not really seeing much in it at this point. This also looks amazing. And if we spray the water on, super hydrophobic, just like the Bowdens. And it's comparing, there's the tape line, and between the two. So, hard to call it, but yeah, both really nice. Here is the 303. So here's where I'm not seeing the perfect round beads I was seeing in the turtle wax and the Bowdens. These, I mean, in my eyes, they're not quite as round. Not that there's much in it. Just I can see a bit of a difference going across to this section. And let's just see how that looks. So you can see the way it runs off. It's clearly not performing as well as the Bowdens, as the turtle wax or the Bowdens. I can see a clear difference between these two. These are both on the flat middle section of the panel. So there's, in my mind, a clear difference. Bowdens and the turtle wax, definitely looking the best so far. 303, yeah, a little bit behind. And here is the Ethos. So the beads on this also not as perfect and round as the other two. So I mean, here's an example. So this here, you can see, that is the 303. Coming across, that right there is where the tape line starts. So you can see the difference between where the tape is, so there's nothing applied, just the residue from the tape, I guess, and the 303. And here's coming over, you can see the beads get a little bit rounder again, a little bit nicer, and that is the Ethos. So, I mean, I believe I'm going to say that the Bowdens and the turtle wax clearly looking a bit nicer, nice round beads, and checking the water running off as we missed. So definitely a lot nicer on the Ethos. Yeah, you can just see the way the water sticks around on the 303 compared. So yeah, I'm going to say first place, Bowdens or turtle wax. I'm going to call it a draw for the beading. Third is going to go to Ethos, and in fourth is the 303. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is just get a leaf blower. I'm going to buy an actual car dryer soon, but yeah, get a leaf blower and see how easy it is to dry each of these sections. All right, so again, pretty clear the difference. Hopefully you guys could see it. The 303, I mean, it's still water gliding off pretty easily, but when you actually have it on next to another product, you can see. So if this was just 303 on your car and you were drying it, you'd think, wow, that works really well. That's the difference when you compare it on a panel to a different product. The Turtle Wax clearly was easier to dry. It blew straight off, as did the Bowdens and as did the Ethos. So I mean, overall, so far I'll give my quick thoughts on what I'm thinking after just applying and initial rinse and slickness. Turtle Wax was really expensive and really difficult to apply. I would actually hate to apply that to a whole car. That was, the wipe off on that was like a wax that you've left and it's just baked in, been left too long, and you're having to use another product to actually get it off, which I have actually done before. So Turtle Wax didn't do well in price or application, which are pretty important factors, but in the look, the beading and the sheeting, and the just getting the water off the panel, it's done really well. I still wouldn't sort of recommend it as much as I would if it was just easier to apply and not as expensive. The 303 was also quite expensive, but a bit easier to apply. Also has quite good look on the paint, but the water behavior just isn't really up to scratch compared to these other three. So not in the top either. The Ethos, extremely easy to apply, almost didn't have to buff it off. I did have someone comment that had a bit of issue with the Ethos. I don't know if it was a bad batch they got or I got a good batch, I'm not sure, but I mean, it was easy to apply. I only bought the 250ml bottle, so it wasn't too expensive, but I guess when you're comparing it, if you buy the larger bottle, it is pretty expensive. But I mean, I guess that's the same for all these graphene products, they just seem to cost more. But yeah, for that reason, it's my most recommended is the Bowdens. It's already the winner so far in the previous test. So far I'd say it's leading the pack. Just as easy to apply as the Ethos. So basically the easiest sealant I've applied along with the Ethos ever. It is just, other than like a spray on rinse off sealant, super easy. Basically feel like you don't need to wipe it off. It almost flashes in and you don't even need to wipe it. But yeah, super easy to apply, really cheap at $33 for the 500ml bottle. And as you saw, incredible water behavior, and you know, second to third for the darkening effect on the panel. It does look really good on the paint, and it did do well in the slickness. So pretty good in the slickness, pretty good in the look. The best for the water behavior, I'm going to say, up there with Turtle Wax, and the easiest to apply. So 1 week in, or yeah, not even 1 week in, first application and rinse, Bowdens is ahead. I'm going to say Turtle Wax and Ethos, you know, kind of tied, but I didn't like applying that Turtle Wax, and I don't like the $70 price tag for it. It's a lot of money for a spray sealant. And the 303, not really doing the best, but maybe that's how it's going to look the entire test, and these other ones will start to fade off, because this is meant to last a year is what they say. So I guess we're going to find out. So that's going to be it for this initial rinse and slickness test video. Hopefully it didn't drag on too long, but I have a habit of kind of making these videos a bit long at times, so let me know if you guys want me to try and shorten these out. I just try and show as much as I can in the videos. I sort of don't want to make it too short where I'm not showing everything and explaining everything I want to talk about. So, but let me know what you guys think. Am I making these too long, or should I just keep it as they are? But yeah, that is it for this one. So this panel will now get dried off with a towel. I do always dry it with a towel. Let's do it off camera. It's going to go up the side of the house and sit in the sun for a week until we do our first wash and our first week update. So if you guys enjoyed this one, definitely give it a thumbs up down below. Leave me a comment, let me know what do you think. I mean, and when I say which one I think is in first, that's just my my thoughts while I'm making the video. If you guys can watch the video and make your own judgment, if you think no, I think the Turtle Wax is the best, it's worth that extra effort to apply, or I didn't find it hard to apply or anything, that's fine. I'm just saying what I think is first. But yeah, if you guys want to make your own judgments, that is completely normal. But yeah, so leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you haven't already subscribed, definitely click the subscribe button down below. We're heading up towards that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I can't announce what the product is, and I keep talking about I'm doing a giveaway. Can't quite announce what it is, but it is something you guys, a lot of you really want. And I will say it's something that has been shown on the channel before. That's all I'll say. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, with all that said, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.